Selma. Today, March 7th, 1965, we bring you the story of 600 civil rights marchers walking through Alabama on their way to Montgomery from Selma and the tragic events that have just transpired. We'll take you to someone on the scene. To you.
Under Edmund Pettus Bridge, where the peaceful African-American protesters vouching for fairness in voter registration were asked to turn around. They refused. They were attacked by state troopers. The protesters were spat on, clubbed, whipped, and trampled by horses. Tear gassed by troopers. I'm here now with a protester. Please.
One of the reasons that we came out to protest by embarking on this march is that we were all deeply upset by the death of a loved member of our community, Jimmy Lee Jackson. On February 26, he was shot by a state trooper and his wounds proved fatal. His death will not pass unnoticed and unavenged. And what happened? Another reason that we went on this march was that we demanded fairness in voter registration. Only 2% of eligible African Americans are actually registered to vote, due to the unfair literacy tests and poll taxes that many of us are unable to pay. This is not fair, and we will not stand. All come here today to make a change. We want justice!
Thank you both. Now, back to Tina to get more background information on this event. Before our exclusive interview with the state.
Lucy. Now that we've gotten a little more familiar with the reasons that this march occurred, let's dive deeper into this ongoing struggle for African Americans for fairness in voter registration. To get familiar with the route that the marchers attempted to travel, it is about 50 miles from Selma to Montgomery. This may not be well-known information, but prior to the march, local police had already harassed and beaten African Americans just for attending clinics that would tell them how to register to vote. And this just in, we now know that over 50 people have been hospitalized due to injuries that they have sustained from the attacks from state police. This certainly is concerning. But now, back to Lucy as she talks to a state trooper.
State Trooper Alfred Winter. Alfred, please help us further understand this situation.
For we believe that it was our duty and completely within our jurisdiction to stop those marchers. They were, in all simplicity, protesting, no matter that it was peaceful. We feel that we had no other choice but to resort to violence to stop the protesters. It had to be done. Alabama's own Governor Wallace is opposed to desegregation, as is the sheriff of the county that Selma is located. Many of us do not feel that fairness in voter registration is something that should apply to everyone. We did what we needed to do to stop this march before it got too out of hand.
That's all for today, folks. This is Tina Perkins. Good afternoon, Selma. 2 days after the original and unsuccessful Selma to Montgomery march, now dubbed Bloody Sunday by the nation, we bring you an exclusive story. A well-known civil rights leader, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., has come to Selma to aid African Americans in their fight for fairness in voter registration. And there is another march happening right now. Lucy,
today, we see another attempt at a march from Selma to Montgomery taking place. Protesters will walk silently down the streets in Paris, led by Dr. King, and joined by many other supporters in fairness and for voter registration. A surprising thing had just happened. We have followed many marchers to Edmund Pettus Bridge once again, and they have seemed to have turned around once again. Let's talk to someone involved to get more detail.
We turned around here at the bridge again because, like before, the road is blocked. Dr. King doesn't want any more lives to be lost and says this is the only thing we really need to do at this point.
Tina Perkins, signing off. Good afternoon, Selma. The date is March 21st, and this day marks exactly 2 weeks after the original Selma to Montgomery march attempt. But now, the 2,000 marchers have the support of President Lyndon Johnson and are being protected by troops from the U.S. Army, as well as members of the Alabama National Guard. To Lucy,
I'm here at the starting point of the march, and they've just got started on their journey. The on-scene crew and I will keep you posted.
Thank you, Lucy. Now today, we have a guest who may disagree with some of the protesters. This is Deputy Grant of the Selma Police. He was part of the attack on the marchers on the 7th and 9th of March. You have a rather different opinion than these protesters. Why don't you share it?
Well, I think that because primarily white men engage in politics, we should have white men choose a representative.
So just so that we're clear, you think that since only white men seem to be in politics, then only white people should be able to vote?
Well, yeah.
All right, thank you very much for your time. This will be all for evening once again, Selma. Much has happened in the past 4 days, but I'll look.
Thanks, Tina. I'm here in Alabama's capital, Montgomery, the ending point of the march for the fairness for the right to vote. Yes, you've heard me correctly. The marchers have reached their final destination. The amount of marchers has increased by 300 to over a few thousand. After many days of marching for 12 hours, sleeping in fields, they have made it to their journey. The marchers are currently being met by over 50,000 supporters, both black and white. That they want to hear what Mr. King and the others have to say about the march. A very amazing and to taxing journey. Thanks for watching. I'm Lucy Perkins.
I'm sure many of you remember the Selma to Montgomery marches that took place in March. It's now August, and as a quick follow-up, I'm with you today to inform you that the Voting Rights Act has just overthrown many formal legal barriers that prevented African Americans from voting. It does this because it is on a federal level. This is a huge victory for the African American community. This is Tina Perkins signing off.